All right, so day two, hanging drywall. Like I said yesterday, kind of had a pretty productive day yesterday. Now it is Sunday, so I did have a nice little lazy Sunday morning. It's about 8 a.m. now, so instead of like yesterday, I was getting started at I think it was like 6 or 6:30. Just spent some time with the family. That's important to do. So this morning, I am hoping to get the rest of this wall running completed, depending on what kind of leftover I have from that. Maybe get these two little panels put in, and then if I could get this area drywalled, that would be awesome. But my main priority is getting this run taken care of. Julian should be here around noon, so I'm hoping that between me and him we can get this ceiling knocked out. And you know what, might as well jump up on a ladder and get these two little patches put in. And one thing I noticed yesterday is constantly reaching in my tool bag, grabbing screws. My index finger and my middle finger were getting a lot of like little metal splinters in them. So I taped them up with a couple band-aids. That really seemed to help. And then the other two were just, I slipped with the screw gun and stabbed myself. So let's try to limit that today. So yeah, I'm gonna get the camera set up and get rolling. Enjoy. All right, so now that this wall is completely done and that first peak little triangle piece is put in, I can go ahead and I believe I should, especially with this piece, have enough to patch in up there real quick. One thing I wanted to point out is that if you've never done drywall, this stuff is kind of directional. These seams need to go together and these seams need to go together. Never mind that gap. That was, I explained that the other day, but basically it's hard to see, but these factory edges, the ones that are kind of rolled, they taper down ever so slightly. That way you have room for mud, tape, and then, your finished mud. This will all be nice and level. Now, one thing with these two little pieces that I did here, you'll notice that I just used a piece right there, how it's sticking out a little bit. This is not one of those factory edges, so this is going to take a little bit more work to kind of touch up and make nice. But I didn't want to cut up a full piece just for this section. Same thing with this little triangle. I had the triangles, the right angles cut from this upper piece. Now that's a good view right there. See how one's nice and rolled, the other is not. Again, just an area that's going to need a little bit of extra TLC whenever I'm doing my mud. But I think that kind of justifies itself rather than cutting up a $20 sheet of drywall just to kind of save myself 5 minutes of work whenever I'm mudding. One last thing I wanted to point out is that because I believe, from my understanding, the ceiling should always be hung first. That way your wall drywall butts up to it just to give it a little extra support. I could be wrong. I don't know. That's just what I've heard, so that's what I'm going with. I did measure down and leave a gap. That's why I kept double checking my measurements, But you see this little scratch piece of drywall that fits right in nice there. I was checking it on almost all my studs, my rafters. So whenever we hang the ceiling, we'll be able to kind of take the sheet, flip it right up into there, and then push it up into place. And that should help us hold it. So hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier. Just a couple things I wanted to point out. I'm gonna go ahead and get situated and get that front taken care of. Alright, so with Julian's help, he's here now, I got this piece cut out. Now, I know what I did here. I was reading my tape upside down, and I added an extra inch, so I should have measured up 16 7/8, and I went 17 7/8. It happens all the time to me. No big deal. Sits nice around the outlets. I'm going to go ahead and throw that cover back on so that, you know, we have some sort of protection there. And then me and Julian, unfortunately, buddy, we got to bring in some more drywall and then start on that ceiling. I don't. All right, one side done. And if anybody's wondering why I ran those ones vertically, so that I only had to deal with one seam down each of that rather than having a seam going this way and then, you know, that way and that way. So hopefully the number's the same way, the same length, but we're gonna jump over here and get this side up. That one pretty smooth after we figured it out, huh? Alright folks, there it is. The vaulted ceiling is all drywalled, and yeah, I know I ran my pieces that way. I can't remember if I said. It's just a lot easier for me to have one seam going up rather than to have a seam going this way as well as a couple going that way. So I thought that was going to be for the best. As you can tell, you know, I'm not a drywall guy. A couple gaps here and there. No big deal. Nothing a little bit of extra mud and some sanding won't take care of. That's probably why I hate drywall so much. I'm not good at it, and I tend to do stuff like that makes a little bit more work on myself later. But either way, I don't have to be perfect at it. I don't sell this service to anybody, so if it's for me, I will make it look good for me. And then if the next homeowners have a complaint, I will get it addressed for them prior to the sale if it's agreed upon. If not, maybe it doesn't even bother them. Who knows? But this is going really good. Julian, I know I told you about 1,000,000 times while you were here, pal, but thank you a ton for coming over and helping me out with that. I don't know how I could have gotten that done by myself. That would have probably resulted in a trip to the hospital. So yeah, we're just going to take a beat and then keep pushing forward with this. All right, everybody, Monday morning about 7 a.m. You know what they say, you can't drywall all day unless you don't start in the morning. I actually don't, that's probably not a saying. Guarantee that's not a saying. But my goal for today, I think it's a pretty realistic goal, is if I could get this wall finished, I guess finish this wall, make my corner, and drywall around the man door here. I need to leave this wall open specifically right here so that whenever the mini split unit gets installed up here, they have that cavity open to run that line. So for right now, I'm just going to get the camera set up and start hammering this out. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to shift my starter piece, my full piece. I'm going to start that at the top and work it down. The reason I'm going to do that is because as it sits right now, the top of my second row is going to hit right at the top of my board here. So I want to start my full piece at the top. That way I can have some solid wall, I guess, to screw my drywall in at the top here as well as right here. Just because I don't want to rely on my cutoffs from my rafters of the existing roof as my studding. So that's why I'm doing that. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, there it is. Probably the most pain in the butt wall is done, with the exception of finishing up screwing up there once I get some longer screws. I did notch out around my bathroom vent as well as the water spigot. Whenever I'm mudding, I'll just fill all that in and make it look nice. And I am running a piece of trim down here, screw. So that's why I'm keeping that up off the concrete a little bit, just in case, you know, we ever get a little bit of water there, any sort of moisture. I don't want that traveling up through the drywall. So I'll run some caulk down there and then there, put a piece of trim, and you will never know that is there. So got that piece in. I can start on this wall. So really, all that I have left to do is this wall and this little bit up here. So, I mean, I'll have that done probably in the next few hours, and then I can't really do that wall until I get my mini split unit in. So go ahead, get this knocked out, and then hopefully take a little bitty baby break from drywall for a couple days. So I bet right now you're probably wondering, see, a smart person would just cut this in half. Well, it's become personal at this point, and I will be damned if I let the drywall win. So I'm doing this in one piece. I'm thinking that if I keep this center intact where the door is, it's going to give me more support as I carry this over. So then that way it lessens the chance of it cracking off these corners. But now that I've got it somewhat in place, I think I'm good to go ahead and cut that middle out, and then hopefully I can just pick it up, probably stand on the ladder, pick it up, put it right in place. All right, it's all looking good. I got pretty much everything done. Like I've said a couple times now, this wall needs to stay open for the mini split unit. Last but not least, this little wall here. All right, everybody. So I cannot be any happier right now. Huh. Dad's all smiles, isn't he?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And why? Why is Dad all smiles? because the drywall's pretty much done. Woo! Can you cheer? Let me hear it. Woo! All right, she's not having it. But like I said earlier, with the exception of the wall that's right behind me, that one's staying open until the mini split unit gets open or gets put in, which should be happening later this week, I'm hoping. But other than that, I mean, the drywall is all hung. I got all the ceilings done, especially this one with the help of Julian. Now I am a concrete finisher. I'm not a drywall expert, so yeah, could it have been a little bit nicer? Yes. Was it a little sloppy in some spots? Yes. But you know what? It's my garage. I don't do drywall for a living. That's not a service that I sell, so it looks good to us, huh? Yeah. So, all right, well, this is gonna wrap up this video. I really don't know. I might tie that drywall in with the mini split video. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But for right now, I mean, we are ready to start finishing this, and that is gonna be another video where I'm gonna be yelling a whole lot of stuff. Eleanor was not allowed to be out here with me while I was doing this because I think every other word or phrase out of my mouth was not all right for her to be hearing. That's just how this kind of work goes for me. If I am unhappy, I did it because it's mine. And if you're asking yourself, why didn't you sub it out if you hate it that much? Because then the drywall wins, and we can't let that. Now in the next house, it will be getting subbed out because I do want our forever house to have nice walls and ceilings, huh? Yeah, so do you, don't you? Yep. You demand perfection for the next house, don't you? Yep, I knew it. I knew it. So, all right, well, you know, let me switch arms real quick. Eleanor's getting big, so I can only hold her for so long. I don't really know how much information I can provide to you guys because I don't want to start telling people bad advice. My advice is if you hate drywall, don't do it. Get someone else. It was a personal vendetta of mine, which is why I did it. But, you know, it is what it is. It's all hung now. Now I get to go ahead and quote unquote finish it. Hey, cover your mouth. Cover your mouth. Come on. That's not funny. So, all right, everybody. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get cleaned up so I can spend some much needed time with Eleanor, Victoria, and Rachel. I hope you guys enjoyed meeting her. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this little princess. And as always, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Gunpowder and Freedom. If you liked what you saw, please click the like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out our store on Etsy. Don't forget to like us on Instagram. And I'll see you next time. Thanks. Have a great day.